I'm so excited to bring you today's video because it's actually a YouTube collaboration with Hamish Hodder. He's an up-and-coming YouTuber just like myself. So click the first link below, check out his channel, and subscribe. And I think you should do that for two reasons. First of all, he focuses on data and the facts. Both those things are important for decision making and especially long-term investing. Secondly, he has a video and a link for the free spreadsheet to analyze stocks. And it's the same spreadsheet that he uses in all of his videos. So make sure to get the free stuff, to check out his channel, and to subscribe. He'll actually be talking about Thor Industries, one of his biggest positions in the stock market. I cannot wait for him to show you this video. So make sure to stay tuned, watch the whole thing, and check out his channel and give him a subscribe.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Hamish Hodder and I have a YouTube channel where I analyze stocks in depth as well as teach you how to analyze stocks for yourself by taking you through each and every aspect of my investment strategy. A huge thanks to Ken for having me on his channel, and I'm going to use this opportunity to talk to you guys about and go in depth into Thor Industries, a stock that is currently my biggest position in the stock market. If you haven't seen me before, here's what you can expect from today's video. We're going to start off with a brief overview of what the company is, what Thor is, and how it makes its money. Then we're going to jump into the economic moat, or the long-term competitive advantage that Thor Industries has. Then we're going to have a look at the ROIC, which is the return on invested capital. Then we're going to jump into the debt levels within the company to see what kind of financing risk we will be taking on if investing in this company. Then we're going to have a look at the 4 key growth numbers, which for me, I like to look at the sales or the revenue, the earnings per share, the equity, and the free cash flow. Then we're going to jump into the value matrix, which is my way of seeing what return we can expect to get over the next 10 years using a matrix and seeing a number of different growth rates and a number of different PE ratios to see what our options are over the next 10 years. And finally, I'm going to do an intrinsic valuation, come up with a fair value, and also come up with a buy decision. Are we going to be buying this stock? Is it a sell or is it a hold? Just before we get started, I need to say that I'm not a financial advisor, so everything here is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please do your own research before investing in any businesses, seek out other opinions, get a broad perspective of opinions out there before you make an investment, and don't be biased, and don't just invest because some guy on the internet said so. So what is Thor Industries? Thor Industries is an American recreational vehicle manufacturer who sells towables as well as motorized RVs through their subsidiaries. Some of the most well-known components of Thor Industries come under the brands of Airstream, Heartland, and Jayco Caravans. They currently have a market capitalization of $5.1 billion, a PE ratio of 11, and they pay a dividend yield of 1.5%. Now let's have a look at the economic moat. Does Thor have a strong long-term competitive advantage that will ensure that it remains a thriving business over the next 10 years? In my opinion, Thor has a compelling economic moat, and I base this on a number of factors. The first is that they have the majority market share in the RV industry by a mile. As of 2017 data, Thor Industries has market share of 48% in the RV industry, which is well above any of the nearest competitors. Forest River, Grand Designs, and Winnebago have market shares of 34%, 3%, and 3% respectively, which means that Thor is the clear leader in an industry of RVs. Secondly, the company was founded in 1980 by Peter Orthwain, who has been at the forefront of the company's success. Peter, after almost 30 years at the business, is still the chairman of the board. This is significant because it means that the person who has been in the company since the beginning is still in power and making decisions for the company. Lastly, I looked at the net margin for Thor because if the net margin of a company is shrinking over time, it can indicate to us that competition is creeping up on them and a company is having to spend more in order to add more revenue on their top and also to bring more profit home on the bottom line. And a shrinking margin is just not the case for Thor. They've been able to grow their margin since 2010 from 4.5% or 4% actually to 5.5%. Next, we will assess the ROIC, or the return on invested capital, to see how effective Thor's management is at investing within the business. So we want to have a look at the 5-year ROIC. First, the average over the last 5 years, and for Thor Industries that has been 19%, which is great because it's above our minimum requirement of 10%. Then if we have a look at the 1-year ROIC, the ROIC from the last 12 months, we can see that it is 25%, which is excellent. It's well above our minimum requirement of 10%. and it's also above the 5-year average, which shows that the company has been getting more effective at investing within the business from the 5-year average to the 1-year average. Next, we want to have a look at debt. Does this company have any out of control debt obligations that are going to come back and bite us when we jump into a recession and they can't pay off their debts? The two ratios that I like to look at are the current ratio and the debt to equity ratio. The current ratio, if you don't know, is current assets divided by current liabilities. So it's basically tracking all of the assets and the debts for the next 12 months. And then the debt to equity ratio is pretty self-explanatory. It's all of their debts divided by all of their equity. So for Thor, looking at the current ratio, we can see that they have a current ratio of 1.15, which is a little bit low for my liking. I like to see 2 and above, but 1.5 means that they still have enough assets, or current assets that is, to cover their current liabilities. And then we can have a look at the debt to equity ratio, and for Thor this is 0.6, which again, a little bit higher than I would like. I like to see below 0.5, which means that a company has 2 times as much equity as debt. However, this is pretty close to 0.5, so it's an excellent debt to equity ratio, and it means that they don't have any out of control debt obligations that are going to hurt them when interest rates start to rise. Awesome, so let's jump into the growth numbers for those 4 key metrics, which are the sales, earnings per share, equity, and free cash flow. Now, essentially, I'm looking for 2 main things here. I'm looking for all of these metrics to have more than 10% growth over the long term, which means that they're growing at a high enough rate that we can get whatever return we want to make over the next 10 years. And the other thing I'm looking for is that over time, their growth has been improving so that we can be confident in using those long-term numbers to predict out into the future. So coming over now to my spreadsheet, we can see that the growth for Thor has been exceptional. Sales growth over the long term has been just under 12%. And as you can see, each and every year it has been improving. It's been 12% from the 9-year average, 15% from the 7-year average, 19% from the 5-year average, 27% from the 3-year average, and they did 60% growth last year. So that's a perfect example of what I'm looking for. Earnings per share is a very similar story, but starting at 18% growth over the long term, then 19, 26, 28, and 45. Equity growth is just under 10% for the long term, but it's pretty close, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it has been growing each and every year, 13%, 13%, 17%, and 25%. And lastly, free cash flow, again, strong over the long term, and each and every year improving, except for the last year, and that has to do with some recent acquisitions that Thor has been making. All right, so that brings us to the value matrix, which is my way of seeing what return we can expect to get over the next 10 years if buying at the current stock price. And by the way, if you're wondering where this spreadsheet has come from, you can actually get access to it for free. Just go over to my channel, click on the most recent video, and in the description below there will be a link for you to be able to access this spreadsheet. And there's also a video explaining how to use each and every aspect of the spreadsheet on my channel. So you might want to go check that one out and use this because it's really helpful for projecting out and making your analysis of companies really easy. You just put in the raw data and it calculates all the growth numbers for you. So having a look at the value matrix, on the bottom table, it tells us what stock price we can expect Thor to be at in 10 years time. So that stock price ranges from anywhere from $125 per share all the way up to $1,000 per share. And then in the top table, we've got the expected return that we would get each and every year depending on the performance of the stock. So for example, if they do 12.77% growth each and every year in terms of earnings, and then they have a PE ratio of 19 in 10 years time, then we would have made a return of 18.62% if we bought the stock at the current stock price. So as we can see, even at a really worst case scenario of Thor growing at just 3% each and every year, and they have a PE of 11, which is about what the PE is now, we would still make a return of 2.77% each and every year for the next 10 years. So if you're thinking about making an investment, you can see that even if they performed really terribly, even if they performed at 3% growth each and every year, and they've been doing 20% growth over the long term, you would still make more than you would having that money in a savings account. So that just shows that there's not a whole lot of downside unless the company starts to perform worse than a positive growth, meaning that their revenues go down over the next 10 years. Then obviously you're not going to make a profit. But you can see that if they do make some sort of profit, the upside is very good. And if they do any performance near what they've been doing over the long term, 12-15%, you can see that the returns are probably going to be somewhere between 12% and 20% per year each and every year. So that finally brings us to the intrinsic valuation. Let's calculate how much this company is worth today and how much we should be willing to pay for that stock in order to make whatever return we want to make over the next 10 years. So to use the buy zone calculator in my spreadsheet, we need to input a couple of pieces of data. First, we need the EPS from the last 12 months, which is $8.31. We need the time frame that we're looking out into the future, which for us is 10 years. We need the current stock price, which is $95.20 as of recording this. We need a margin of safety, which is the buffer we're going to allow for error in our valuation, and I always use 50%. And lastly, we need the return that we want to make each and every year over the next 10 years. And for Thor, well, personally, I like to make 15% each and every year, and I've got it at 13.5% because I'm assuming that we're going to be able to make 1.5% from the dividend. So we're going to get 1.5% from the dividend and 13.5% from the stock price actually appreciating, and altogether we're going to make 15%. So the auto buy zone calculator has come up with an estimated growth of about 13% each and every year over the next 10 years, and that gives us a fair value of $125 per share, which means that the buy price for us with that 50% margin of safety is about $65 per share. So because $62 is below the current stock price at $95, it wouldn't be a buy until it fell another 30%. However, I'm going to give you another example using a higher growth rate to see what growth rate we would need to assume in order to make it a buy right now. So if we assume a growth rate of 18% per year each and every year over the next 10 years, we actually come up with a fair value of $196 per share, which when discounted 50% with our margin of safety, we get a buy price of about $98 per share, which is just above the current stock price, which means if you think that the company can grow at 18% per year each and every year for the next 10 years, then it would be a current buy. That's all from me for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did and you want to see more, make sure you go jump over to my channel. There is a ton of videos similar to this one over there, so you can indulge yourself and learn about a number of different stocks using this kind of strategy. And if you want to apply this to your own research, if you want to learn how I analyze businesses and how to use the spreadsheet and that sort of thing, there's a ton of videos over there going through each and every aspect of my strategy, so you can do that as well. Thanks again to Ken for having me on, and he actually has a video coming out on my channel today as well, so you should definitely go check that out on my channel. But for now, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on my channel.